Okay, so after we read the first time, we want to go back and read over it a second time. This time, I'm not going to reread it to you, but I am going to point out a couple places that I really want you guys to look at, either in terms of tone, words that the author's using, or ways that they're talking about it. So I want you to read through this again on your own, and the link is in your PowerPoint. But I do want you to pay attention to these places that I have highlighted. So at the end of the first paragraph, she says that sometimes she has to walk 2 or 3 times before dawn to stay in front of the dread. I want you to really think about what that means and think about it in terms of emotions. How many of you have actually had that feeling where it just seems so dreadful, so horrible that you just have to move to stay ahead of it? Think about that feeling and let that feeling seep into how you're reading this on your second read through. Think about this. There's all these people here that are losing their jobs. They're not going to be able to stay in their homes. It's kind of like the epidemic right now where people are losing jobs, people are losing homes, places are going under foreclosure. So think about how that would feel if that was your own neighborhood and thinking about what is it like to lose your home? What is it like to watch all of your neighbors lose their homes? Think about how that feeling of dread just makes you need to get up and move. Then down here, so she goes to Teresa Madding's house for an estate sale. An estate sale is basically they can no longer afford their house, so it goes either into foreclosure or a short sale, which it says right here. Um, when that happens, the house basically goes up for auction. So anyone and everyone can come to this house auction and uh, quote money, and then whoever the highest bidder is gets to buy the house. So I want you thinking about two things. First of all, as I scoured Teresa's possessions, I was grateful that most of the people streaming in on that dreary autumn morning were not from the neighborhood. Why do you think she was grateful for that? Why would it have been any different had her neighbors actually been there? Because maybe then it could have been a supportive thing. There's been stories of neighbors coming together at auctions to purchase all of the materials only to give it back to the family. So why did she feel so worried that she was grateful when none of her neighbors showed up? And then the part that's highlighted in yellow, it's against the unspoken code for us to circle the pyre of our neighbor's belongings. So a pyre is technically called a funeral pyre. It means back in the olden days when before we had our modern cremation and embalming processes rather, we would burn bodies on what's called a funeral pyre. So you'd get like a bunch of sticks and you'd throw throw all these sticks and other things that create fire, and then you would put the body on top of it and you would burn the body. That's how you would cremate the body. So, what exactly is this sentence asking when it says it's against the unspoken code for us to circle the pyre of our neighbor's belongings? What does that mean? What is that unspoken code? What does it mean, the pyre of our neighbor's belongings? And then again, here, when she runs into Mrs. Madding, where she says, "Hello," I mumbled, angry at her for attending her own funeral. Why is she mumbling? Why is she saying, "Hello"? Like, she's not even saying it with confidence. And then, why is she angry at this woman for attending her own home auction? This woman is losing her house. She's losing everything that's in her house. So, why is our author angry at her for attending? And then just two last spots. So, when the author goes ahead and buys the soup tureen and she gets into the car, she starts crying and can't stop. She says, "We never used it. When our real estate agent came to size up our house, she noticed the tureen in the china cabinet. I made her take it home." Why did she never use it? And why was she so ashamed that she started to cry? What about the situation made it so shameful for her? And then finally, this last part, I want you to think about connecting it to the beginning where she's walking to get ahead of the dread.